Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name is Adam, always joined by Baker. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. On the road, I see.
Yes, mate. Yeah, I'm down at the parents at the moment, so a bit of a funky setup down here on the wife's laptop. Any sound problem, any sound issues, I do apologise. But a couple of weeks' time, we'll be back up north, and everything will be back to normal. But enjoying Christmas and that. So you had a good one.
Yeah, nice and relaxing. We were hoping to play golf today, but didn't happen.
We were, yeah. Unfortunately, the rain came down today, but that it is what it is. I mean, it rained points in FPL. Points came from
It did.
absolutely everywhere. Whether you owned players, whether you didn't own players, you were celebrating and cursing at various different times throughout the game week in the last 3 days.
Just insane game week. Truly insane game week.
So, how many points did you end up on?
I ended up on a what now is a completely pathetic 83 points.
Yeah,
I mean, I only averaged 7.5 points a player. Awful,
it's
awful.
mad. It's mad. And like, go on then. So what was the safety score for you?
89 was the safety score. I was at 80k at the start of this game week. I'm about 110k now.
Mad. And I've
89 just to break
yeah,
even.
and I've got to 85 points. My safety score was 83, so I've moved up from like 1.5 million to like 1.48 million and something stupid like that. So yeah, not great from a rank perspective, but
The,
we
the
weren't here
template
to
don't miss, mate. The template don't miss.
significantly significant points from all over the template,
Yeah.
regardless of who you had as well. And even if you tried to go differential, um, some of those guys hit, and well, in fact, quite a lot of them hit anyway. So it's not like you really missed out.
Yeah. I thought like you could go one or two. So we I mean our big trap, we both went Zaha. We went Zaha over Miggy. That's what we
Yeah,
did. That's what we did as a fixture play against Fulham, and it burnt us. And if we hadn't done that, we'd have both said, "Yeah, good week, move on."
mm.
Now we've got Zaha stinking up our team in a Palace shit show,
Yeah,
and
with suspended
Miggy's
players and
Miggy's godly, still going.
yeah, I just picked up exactly where he left off. His goal was excellent as well. So
But we've also got transfers to make.
we've got transfers, we've got talking points. We were hoping, a lot of people pre game week 17 thinking, as you do before a wild card, you go wild card, roll the transfer, then I can do what I want, and I can have a mini wild card, 3, 4 transfers, take a -8, and everything's good. No, no.
Nah,
Literally that moment, and I didn't watch loads of the Chelsea game. I watched bits of it, but I was watching when I saw Reece James do the little signal, and I was like, "You absolute wanker!"
we won't learn though, will we? Like I said, I was on the wire. Danny,
He posted
who's
it
been on
earlier.
ours, yeah, posted earlier. Like literally said, it's stupid. Then we were like, oh, managing the minutes and stuff. And like you say, we were all counting to 60 minutes. It's like, why are we all going on a player that we're counting for 60 minutes? But we just do it.
I know, and I said to you as well that I mean, Chelsea went on and kept a clean sheet, but why were we obsessing over someone that's just come back from injury? And I know at the time I was considering Martial, so
Yeah.
didn't end up going there. But I kind of had a backwards logic on wanting Martial but not James, but ended up on James anyway, just because I didn't feel like I had enough money in certain places because I went for Kane. So I had to make some sacrifices elsewhere, including in the defence. So I felt like I needed that premium defender in there, or at least some kind of relative price point that I could work from if I needed to move around, because I could always move one of my forwards out, and then Reece James would then move up to, um,
Yeah.
you know, up to a Cancelo if I needed it. But if I'd have done that, if I'd have gone for like another 4.8 or a 4.9 or a 5, I wouldn't have been able to get to Cancelo just by moving on Darwin, for example. And I
Yeah.
wanted the option to move Darwin or Kane, and if I needed to. And so yeah, Reece James went in. Obviously, the double in there as well potentially has just been
That
completely
was
wiped. It's
it.
just
Because the
gone.
double was
So
there, it pushed us over and we had to just do it. The double wasn't there, I think we've all gone, no, we sit and wait. But the double was there, so we went for it. And now we've all got a decision to make. So we've got
yeah,
to talk about that, I suppose.
Yeah, so I mean, there's been a lot going around about who are the best replacements for Reece James. There's some obvious ones going up in price, down in price. You know, players like Robertson, of course, if you can get there, and you know, or you can just go back into the Chelsea defence, go elsewhere, go Cucurella, Azpilicueta. You know, both definite options. You know, I've got that situation now where I need to look at, you know, do I need to get now an Arsenal defender in? Does that make sense? Because they were excellent,
Yeah.
bar a penalty again, and basically kept West Ham to nothing. So yeah, what are you thinking on that?
Um, so I think, yeah, just running through the options with James for everyone that's got him, which we'll tackle it. And if you haven't got James, then well done, you're one step ahead of everybody else. And I think the first question is if you don't do anything, what do you have, or what comes in? And so for me, it's White. For you, it's a straight down a Patterson or Bueno situation. So you probably do want to do something a bit quicker than others. I'm not over keen on playing an Arsenal defender. Um, just looking at the fixtures, looking at the next four, I don't see a clean sheet in the next four. Brighton, a good team. Brighton, a good team at home as well. I fancy that. What they've got. After that, they've got
Newcastle at home
us, haven't they? They've got Man United,
and
and they've got
Newcastle at home as
Newcastle at
well.
home.
Yeah,
That's not great fixtures. It's not. Doesn't say to me where should I be using my transfer. I should be using it on bringing an Arsenal player in defence, or I should be just saying, yeah, it's okay to play White every week. Like there's a reason we were okay for him to be on the bench. However, it depends on the rest of your team, and how ahead of the game you are. Because we've both got KDB. KDB played 90 minutes tonight. Haaland played 90 minutes tonight. It's Wednesday night, 10:30 at night. They play again in 60 hours time, something like that. Well, no, about 64 hours time
on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday at 3 o'clock. Imagine KDB's benched and Salah's playing home to Leicester. And not only that, imagine Haaland's playing limited minutes. I think we've got a real question to ask ourselves of how comfortable we are not owning Mo. We chased it this week. We wanted to be ahead of the game and say, hey, there's a double in 20, but we don't know there's a double in 20 because if Chelsea draw with City in the FA Cup, which can happen, then suddenly there's no double. And Chelsea might play Liverpool in a double in 21. So you could get completely unlucky here. Like you feel unlucky tonight as a KDB owner that he didn't get any returns, but you feel even more unlucky if suddenly that game doesn't go ahead in 20. The Chelsea Liverpool game does, and regardless, it's Mo at home to Leicester. Now the issue is if he does play another 90 minutes, KDB, it's home to Everton. It's not
Yeah,
like he was bad tonight; he was brilliant.
yeah,
But I think it's just what sits well with you because people aren't missing. The bad news about going to Mo is you're if you go KDB to Mo tonight, you're guaranteeing that you're one step behind those guys that are now going to go James to somebody else. um, it's like you're almost just admitting defeat in that sense.
and then you're almost
But
and
if it's
you
the
would
right
go
move,
back,
it's
would
the
you
right
not?
move.
You'd go back as well. You'd go back in 20 if the double comes in, and then you might have to go back again in 21 just to go back in 23. I mean, you could end up just doing KDB to Salah on Salah to KDB for the next 5 weeks, which feels mental.
But if there's isn't that better than spending transfers on 5 million, £4 million defenders? Do you know what I mean? Like, isn't it the way here that is that should be the midfielder, the prime midfielder should be the highest scoring player in your team.
Yeah,
And I guess Yeah. So there's a
Well,
big decision here because this could just spiral on because we could just go, well, do we now think that Darwin can cover Salah? And what the hell do we think about Darwin from this week and what we've
yeah,
seen?
yeah, and I mean,
Like,
if you've got, and what we're seeing from like those, what we're seeing from like the 5 million, 6 million, 7 million guys around is there's relative consistency there. And
yeah,
even and even if you're not, and I mean, fine, Rashford's not in that discussion from a consistency point of view, but he's got the fixtures now to to have that consistency over the next 3 or 4 as well. So whether you've got Saka, Martinelli, Rashford, or Almiron, or all four, in theory, you could be sitting on four there that you could just sit there and go, okay, I'll just do that. Or you could have Andreas as well in there, and you just say, okay, fine, I've got Andreas, and you can, you'll have him for the double and whatnot, and you can literally just move him around because everyone's on. The only other transfer that people are, I think, before the Reece James issue, the only other transfer people are considering potentially is a Martial to Mitrovic move, and people are having to work out now whether they need to do that move now or whether they can hold off on that move. Now, I think as well, there was enough from United to say that. Well, I think with United, I mean, as long as they're performing well, then Martial's fine as long as he's fit. I think in
mm,
this sort of set of fixtures. I don't think there's any need to come off him. But I mean, I said this before the game week as well, and just to everyone listening, this is not going to be like a normal game week review for us because of the short turnaround. So we're not going to go through
yeah,
all the games, but for that game in particular, I mean, the Martial thing, like, what are we expecting? What were people expecting of Martial when they brought him in? They're like, oh, perfect, I can move him to Mitrovic in 19, like planning this transfer, but planning this transfer with Bournemouth like sitting there, like
like, yeah,
it's just
exactly.
mental. Going, oh, I expect him to do badly in those two fixtures, so I feel more comfortable moving him to Mitrovic. Like, why the hell
Yeah,
am I picking him in the first place?
that's such a
Um,
mad,
it's so
weird way to
weird.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I think, yeah, so three dilemmas, I think. James, and most people have one of these. James, KDB, what do you do? And then the last one is, what do you do about Mitrovic? Because I guess the three people that people might be considering, one is you could have Wilson in your team. Quite a
yeah,
lot of people have got Wilson in the team. And the noises didn't sound particularly good about that. But Howe's pretty coy in that, i.e., we didn't know it was going to happen. We didn't know he wasn't going to play, so we probably don't know he will going to play as well. In
yeah.
that sense of when he's back. And look, Chris Wood immediately plays, which tells you he still wants to always have that focal striker. And
Mm,
if Wilson's fit, he'll play above Chris Wood.
yeah.
Um, uh, and if you're not taking out Wilson for Mitro, then it's probably people are looking at Darwin or Martial because I mean the Darwin reaction on that's so weird, wasn't it? Did you not feel like it
He
was
was
like
he was he was both amazing and awful for various reasons. And there was there was a post from the guys over at All About FPL. I mean, guys do fantastic work. I'll give them a shout out for that because they do excellent work. And they were looking at the conversion of big chances in particular um, for for all the strikers. And obviously, Haaland you know is
yeah,
elite, right?
he missed a
But
few tonight though,
he did miss a few tonight. In fairness, he's probably knocked
and
that down a
still
bit.
braced.
Yes, and still brace. Well, that's the difference. Is you get ridiculous. You get well. That's it though. You get volume from these teams, don't you? And Nunes will continue to get volume, but he's not on Haaland's level, is he? So he's actually down there with Jesus and Watkins, right? And like, I know how you feel about Jesus and Watkins, mate.
I like Watkins. I when I was watching the other
No,
night,
I know, but I you do like him,
like
but
Jesus and
you say he's a bad
yeah,
finisher. That's what you say. I mean,
yeah.
we know.
It's the thing with um Nunes is that he's a snatchy finisher when I watch Nunes. So um I don't feel that he's a bad finisher. I feel that he's a snatchy finisher. And you, until you watch him long enough, I'm not sure if people are always going to be snatchy finisher. Like Jermaine Defoe was a snatchy finisher. Like he used to very, very often. But then if he scored one goal, you thought it could be four. This could be five. Like he had that in him where people would say he was a brilliant finisher at times, and there were times where
Mm,
he would score some fantastic goals, but he always had chances. And if you did a highlight reel of his goals, it looks great. If you do a highlight reel of his misses, it would look appalling. But you'd never see the highlight reel of him in the past. And
He's
Darwin's the
always
same. When you actually see his goals, they're good goals. You know, he hits some brilliant volleys, he hits some good things, but in amongst it, some really snatchy things. And it's just because he's so keen and he's so athletic that he's going at a million miles an hour. He's left everyone for dead, and he's got to recover himself to get to that position of composure. He doesn't really get to that, but at some point he will. And I want to be on the. I don't. I want to be. I want to be on that man when he does.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny you use Defoe as the example because he was always Defoe was always one that was offside all the time, and I was just thinking about Darwin yesterday, just standing in offside positions, just looking to take that
Just
chance.
so keen. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it
Like he
just
is
wants to get there.
like a stretched out Jermaine. Like it is, he's got that about him that he's so tunnel visioned.
You say about Snatchy as well. In my mind, I'm just thinking back to the two or three chances he had in the League Cup, and thinking back to one of the chances he had yesterday as well. And I just wonder whether he's maybe taking shots in the wrong positions. But actually, I mean, I haven't got it for the screen, but I'm just
He
looking at
gets
his shot
everywhere.
heat map on Fantasy Football Scout, and it's pretty central in truth.
Yeah.
And it's all in the box basically. So you know, yeah,
But he always pulls it. Do you know what I mean? It's not
yeah,
like he backs it, hits it straight at the keeper. Like he always pulls it where, like most of them don't even hit the target. They that's
yeah.
what I mean by like that is
Doesn't even
like it's
force a keeper to make a save.
yeah. It's not like, oh, you crapped yourself and just hit it straight at him and close your eyes. You know what I mean? Is he's like, go, I'm gonna go for that corner and just just pulls it. You
Snatch is the
know,
right word.
is
Snatch is the
yeah,
right word.
it's but I'm like, uh,
But do you think that's so?
he might stay like that forever.
What's our expectation? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, will it? It won't stay like that forever because historically he's got better finishing. As I saw somewhere,
Yeah,
somebody saying his finishing's actually not bad. So when does that turn back around,
he's
or does he just end
basically
up on the?
he is basically Mitrovic playing for Liverpool, not playing for Fulham. Like
Oh, can't. You
well,
think?
Mitrovic the first season in the Prem, maybe not this season.
Okay.
He's been on it, but last season in that he was up in the Prem, like he would always have five six shots, and
Yeah.
you know he might get one goal
There's a
every
big
other game still.
expectation on him. Big expectation on him as well, and he just didn't really
This guy's
deliver
playing
it.
for Liverpool,
Yeah, so he's
like
going to
he
continue to get them.
because Robbo was brilliant.
Yeah,
Like just in general, Liverpool, I was like, that's they were a bit more on it. They were all the same stuff that they were before, which is really frail in defence, really open. Can't really trust them to keep a clean sheet. Villa went at every time Villa went at them, they just went straight through them. But
well, I think. I mean, we can put them up on screen. The Liverpool game in particular, just so we can see that. So, I mean, it was a fun game.
but look at it, it's fun. Like there's no dull patch for Liverpool there. There's no like, oh, it was a bit ugh, like 0 to 15 or 15. Like they just kept chugging.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
we want to see from Liverpool.
yeah.
Oh, like before the game,
Or creating
there
big chances. That's what they were doing.
was quite a lot
If
of
they weren't chugging
Villa
it, creating big
fans
chances.
saying that they were going to be tight, you know, under Emery and all that stuff. Well, if that's a tight team, next up they got Leicester.
Yeah, who basically shut the bed in the first 10 minutes.
They got Leicester.
Yeah,
Right now, I am struggling to see a better transfer than KDB to Mo. I am struggling to see a better transfer than that. I
yeah.
don't
No,
like
that's
playing
fair.
White. I don't like not having Mitro. I really don't like having Zaha in my team.
Which
But
is fine.
the not owning Salah for that Leicester game on Friday night, God, that could ruin your weekend.
Surely Leicester aren't as open as they were in those first 10.
What can they do about it? What's the personnel to do anything about it?
Yeah, I mean,
Because
they,
look at that. They literally lost the game within 10, 15 minutes. It was
yeah,
done.
done.
And Newcastle are a really good team. you could visibly feel that Newcastle went through the motions after 30 minutes. Like that what's just happened there isn't Leicester getting back into the game. Look, they haven't got back into it. They've had a couple of chances right at the end.
Yeah,
But
they've
they didn't
literally
get
been
back into the game.
suffocated. They've literally been
It's
suffocated out of it. I tell you what, that's quite a mature approach to a game, and
really immature, mate.
yeah,
They were so controlled. You know, for me and you didn't have Miggy, so our two big pains this week. We've gone out early with these ones here that we didn't have Mo and we didn't have Miggy, but I wasn't that worried about. It was horrific for 30 minutes, but once I were 3-0 up, I was like, oh, they're controlling this.
yeah,
This is going to be okay.
yeah.
Um, this is going to be okay, but Liverpool don't have no handbrake. We saw it against Bournemouth when they scored 9.
So you're happy with Nunes? I mean, I think there's enough going on elsewhere to be fine with Nunes.
Nobody in their right mind's ever taken a man out against uh,
Against Leicester.
against Leicester.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I like the KDB to Salah move.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't get there. I have to move James to do it. That's the only problem that I have. So it's going to cost me 4 points if I'm going to do it. But and what I also then do is I also then restrict myself from getting anywhere near Liverpool defenders or Cancelo. I could do something like John Stones, for example.
But you're
But
getting it in other ways, in that you're going to get potentially Kane in the double, which because immediately this
yes,
James situation means that nobody's rolling anymore. So we're now going to get into a position. Well, and if you are
listen,
rolling, you're doing it because by not you
James is
know
still a transfer.
James is still a transfer,
He's still a
you know,
transfer, whether it's this week or
unless
next.
and he's going to do us again because I think it's game week 22 when he's likely back. They're home to Fulham.
Yeah.
it's gonna happen again. But we're all looking at our teams and thinking, right, can we get a Chelsea attacker in? Is it okay to just have Kepa in terms of defence for that double? Um, will we have any Tottenham in for the double? And will we have our triple city? So those that have got Salah still haven't got triple city on the majority. Some have got Foden in, but that's a whole different game that we're not going to. We can't play that out tonight. We don't know. We don't know where that's going to be. You've got to see again
Yeah.
what happens on the weekend.
Yeah.
Um, uh, so you've got the triple city situation. You've got Chelsea. How many defenders have you got? Have you got anything in
Are
attack
we
for it?
anything in
Who's
attack?
your
Yeah.
captain going to be still in 19
19.
is still a game to look at. There's there's a lot of stuff which people can and can't get to. Um, yeah, yeah.
So, okay. So we're both comfortable with a KDB to Salah move. In terms of Reece James replacements, if you wanted to move on one now, would you stay in Chelsea or would you look elsewhere?
So the double's not great, is it?
City and Fulham.
It's not great, is it?
It's not ideal.
And the best option is potentially a rotation risk, which is Cucurella.
Yeah.
That's the best option. You know, if you're going to go somewhere, you go Cucurella because he's Potter's boy, and he out baselined Thiago Silva. So we might call up. You got the Chelsea game.
Is that
Let's
the
have a little
Chelsea
look.
game?
See
Yeah,
the
yeah, hold
Chelsea
on.
game.
1 second. There you go.
They
I mean,
linked that.
it's not a great yardstick because it's Bournemouth away. It's Bournemouth playing away at Chelsea. So again, it's a difficult yardstick really to work with.
It's a really difficult yardstick to work, but there's some good signs I think, and some telltale signs which are not going to go away on Chelsea. One is that the good is even small chances. So even just accumulating chances is nice to see from Chelsea, because even when they've not played the best teams in the world, and
I would
Bournemouth have
also
been
add
tighter.
I'd also add in that second half, those chances are all coming post Reece James's substitution as well, which I think is important.
Yep. So
It's
they
not like
continued.
it's not like they just did bits and then he came off and
Yeah.
everything stopped. So
Yeah. Kai worked so hard. But Kai, Mount, Sterling, Pulisic took a big knock early on, so I'm not sure. I think that might have hampered him a bit. But they looked like if they were going to create goals, it was from those attacking positions rather than the fullbacks.
yeah,
So Cucurella, as a downside, is he didn't look like he offered anything really going forward. But what he did do was he did do well in the baseline. As I said, outperformed Thiago. Mount was good. Still doesn't get in the box a lot, but good finish and often does it against the bullies. We've said it many times about him being a flat track bully.
yeah,
I've got Fulham in that double. He's probably a good option. And Kai, I can see people getting frustrated with Darwin. Darwin blanks against Leicester. I can see a lot of people wanting to go Darwin to Kai in 19. That could be a bandwagon. Then home to Palace, I think in 20, and Palace have been what we saw. They were just horrific.
yeah,
Um,
and then
the
double against Liverpool.
the visible downside is that Chelsea's midfield cannot work past 60 minutes. They've got no legs. We can say it to the cows come home. We've said it all season, and it's the same deal. Like, it's not us saying it. If you're looking on the screen now, you can see Bournemouth could not touch the ball for 60 minutes. And then, hey, guess what? They have to end up bringing on people like Gallagher, who's allergic to the football. Jorginho's legs can't work. They suddenly will get overrun. Now, you get overrun against City. City could bang 4 into that last half hour. If that happens.
Yeah.
They desperately, they talked today about they're looking to maybe buy Enzo Fernandez for whether it's 110 million quid or whatever it is. They've got to do something. They need a centre midfielder that can play 90 minutes. It's one of the things that's a bit restrictive on Mount. He can never go too far forward because he's got the best legs, for their team.
Yeah, and he was
still
everywhere.
Still my biggest concern for them is in terms of can you trust the attack only if they come out fast. Now that they did do that, at least they've not done that also, and they did exactly the same in that second half. If you did the field tilt on this opportunities ones, you can see their prime periods of dominance was the first 15 minutes in both games. So Cucurella is a boring pick, but he is a pick. Here's a pick.
Fair enough.
I guess the other option for me is your guy that you've got, who got you 8 glorious points this weekend. That's Mr. Shaw.
Luke Shaw. Yeah. I mean, look, I wasn't too keen on him playing centre back. I was just watching Malacia just get into like the best positions possible. Finding himself in the box constantly, and I'm thinking if that is Luke Shaw's even more direct than Malacia. So he would continue some of those runs where Malacia held off and stuff. But he was always up there. In fact, he probably was a lot wider than Shaw would normally be, in truth, because Shaw likes to come inside. I wasn't overly keen on him being centre back, but I didn't realise that he'd racked up, what he had in terms of baseline to get to top bonus. Yeah. And I didn't see. Did he get there comfortably as well? I can't. Let me see.
Well, 2 on the bonus, wasn't he? He took Varane. Varane came off. That's why he did it. So I'm not sure whether he would have taken Varane. He basically about pulled level with Varane, and then Varane went off, and then he managed to just keep nudging ahead. The good thing for Man United of having him is that he can pass a ball, pass a move. One of the things that we'd looked at on baseline for Man United when we did the pre-season pod was that, the mid-season pod, we should call it, is that their defenders were rarely getting to the pass completion, but he offers a real calmness on the ball because he's a good player. That helps. That's really good. And he was quite aggressive in a lot of the tackles, quite a few interceptions and all those type of stuff. And and he clears well. He's going to clear. So, and he'll go back to left back. Sandro Martinez will be back, and then he'll get those good positions. But he'll still be a very good player. Casemiro just makes them a much better team.
Yeah,
phenomenal. That has been. You're watching a player that's been a world-class player for a long time, and you can see he comes along and just instantly goes, yeah, I know what I'm doing here. Same as Varane. You look at those two and they're world-class individuals for 15 years. Well, they're going to come in and be world-class individuals. That's why you pay them the big bucks. Yeah, good team, good defense.
I feel like there were some shackles released as well with the Ronaldo. Just hanging over them.
Whole thing was
constantly.
Good.
Yeah,
whole thing was good.
No, I thought United were good again. Talking of benchmarking, home against Forest, but still, it's promising. They've got good fixtures. They've got the similar fixtures coming up now as well. So, and Wolves conceded a lot of XG to Everton as well. So it's not like.
Is that it? Is that what you need to say?
I'm going to say that, yeah, because they did.
They conceded 1.5 XG to Everton,
which is a lot.
What more do you need to say?
Yeah, so expect United to rack it up against Wolves next.
In that Everton game, they consistently conceded chances throughout the game. So, yeah, that's
Could show you that Everton game if you want. Look at that.
Yeah, for Lopetegui's first game again, someone that's supposed to be quite defensive minded. They got battered on the XG by it, but they won the game.
They won the game.
Aït-Nouri coming off the bench for Bueno, 59 minutes sub and scoring.
Yeah, that's not ideal, is it? But
it's not ideal.
Yeah. That was one of the things about the Patterson Bueno thing was you were getting like two starters. And if your 3.9 million guy isn't a starter, then to be honest, who cares, really?
But if you're carrying Reece James, you've got Bueno,
one's got to go.
Like I'm going to be in a position.
Reece James has got to
go. If I make what seems quite a luxurious move of KDB to Salah, then I'll be carrying James and potentially Bueno, and that's weak.
But I say you've got
to miss.
Yeah, but you've got Ben White, as you say, and I think that's fine for this week. I think. Well,
if Cancelo is now fit enough to start, it might be.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And then KDB, and I'm sure Haaland will play some minutes if not limited. Because
Haaland's fine, don't worry. I mean, Haaland's
Haaland's a 60 minutes maybe and stuff like that, but KDB might miss out.
We said that at the start of the season that Haaland would get minutes managed. Yeah, never did.
Did miss the second game of the season though.
KDB.
Made two changes in that first game to the second game. He took out Mahrez and he took out KDB.
Amazing.
He did. And who played tonight? KDB and Mahrez. And who didn't play? Phil Foden and Bernardo.
Brilliant. Job done. Who needs Luke?
It could easily be that move again. And it's like, do you want to take that risk? Yeah. Or do you just have to take the pain here and say we fucked it?
Yeah. Any other Reece James replacements while we're on it? I said Cresswell. No, didn't fancy that one.
No, we're not doing that. Shaw and
you like Shaw? Okay.
Yeah. Well, the only other thing is, I don't know if you noticed it, but Newcastle were comfortably above 100% owned in defence.
Oh, so you thinking maybe like a Botman?
Comfortably. Botman.
Yeah, Botman. 4-4 still.
The most irritating thing about if you bring Botman in is then how do you ever bench them? Too good.
It's literally
you're gonna get so annoyed when you only play Trippier, and then you're like, I've got the other guy, and he's not. I'm losing because I've benched him.
Yeah,
they've not lost a game with Botman in the team.
Well, they've only lost one. They've only lost one game all season. Have they not? They've lost one game all season. They have 6 draws.
I don't know. I just see the headlines, mate. We don't get any further than that.
Yeah.
They have lost one game all season. Yeah,
pretty sure they've lost one game all season, but they've drawn 6. And that was what City at home, was it not? 3-2 or something? 4-2,
conceded the least in the league.
Have they really?
11
So
goals.
why are we not on double Newcastle defence?
Exactly.
Why did I get rid of Nick
So
Pope?
exactly. So you're talking about the best defence. Botman's
Christ.
in there. It's not as fun as Shaw or even your Cucurella of the like, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Okay.
you might only need one game with Botman to
What, cover 5 games
that
with Reece James.
it's that actually game week. It's that game week 19 actually as well that Shaw stands out in that game week 19. It's like, is Shaw home to Bournemouth better than Cucurella, who's got City and Fulham? And Fulham's away.
Yeah. So potentially.
If you
Yeah.
own Shaw like you do, you wouldn't be moving Shaw onto Cucurella as a
No
luxury
chance.
move.
No,
No
no, no,
chance.
no chance. But everyone's looking to move. It's a nice little segue. Everyone's looking to move Martial onto Mitrovic.
Yeah, but it's when you look at the backside of it and then go, right, I bring Shaw in as someone that I'm going to play quite regularly. Do I want Shaw to then play against City and Arsenal? You're like, oh, I'm not sure I like that so much.
Oh, you can go short to Botman and go Fulham and Palace after that.
Whereas, like, look at it. Look at Botman. Yes, you have away to Arsenal,
But then you
but
just
then
got
you've got Fulham, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Bournemouth, and Leeds this weekend. Yeah, ain't bad. It's
it's
pretty
pretty
good.
good, isn't it? It's pretty good.
At 4.4, incredible value.
I feel like this is the conversation that we should have had in like game week 13. And people were having this conversation.
Yeah.
To relate to the party.
We did double up on Newcastle. Maybe we should have
Well, yeah, I
tripled.
did have Pope. I had Pope. Yeah, we had Pope. Well, I had Pope. You had Pope?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then I guess last thing, have we covered Mitro? Are we happy cover? I guess we haven't really covered Mitro.
What can we take? Like, I mean, obviously we had the world as Zaha, but genuinely, what can you take from a game when they get 2 men sent off, other than Palace are dickheads?
Yeah.
Like, it's really difficult. If you um look at the XG chart, you'd say going in at half time, it's like 0.7 versus 0.3. Like, who cares? It's a nothing game. Yes, they're 1-0 up below. It's a nothing game. They've had two decent chances for them in the first half.
And then James Tompkins gets sent off on the 60th minute, basically, and then it just takes off.
Yeah, because you've got 9 men. Like, you can kind of play a little bit on 10 men, but
Yes.
you can't play on that. You can't play on that.
Yeah, and it's a massive chance, obviously, because there's so much space.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And they're not. It's not like, oh, we're 9 men and you're a good, particularly great team. They're not the greatest team. I don't feel like they're particularly. I don't feel like that team was functional that they played when they played. Like, when you play Elise and Zaha, it's like, and Ayu, it's like all the same player. They all just run a lot and don't pass.
yeah, Eze is the same as well. All the same. All the same type of
Exactly.
player.
Not enough, but like, too much baller, not enough ball. You know what I mean? Like, it's you kind of need that man that's going to stand and actually pass the ball occasionally. They just run each other's way. So yeah, look, if you've got Salah, if you've got White and you can go White, James to White this week, I'd probably just do that. Um, and 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 then look at Wilson if I've got, But the only way I'd bring Mitro in this week would be if I had Wilson. I wouldn't
Okay,
take I wouldn't take anybody else out for him.
that's fair. That's fair. You've got you've got Darwin, Haaland, Martial, right?
Yeah,
And I'm not doing anything with Kane. So
and it
any
and
any uh, any thoughts that potentially, he'd be down in the dumps and all this sort of stuff was blown away straight away.
I guess we should talk about Tottenham. Isn't it funny, like, because it's been such a ridiculous week for FPL, where everyone's scoring points. It's almost like I forgot that Tottenham played because
Yeah,
we just there.
I don't even want to. Well, I'll put it up here. Yeah, just nothing. And
But
again, second half. I mean, this XG graph is just apart from the two monster chances, where basically Jan Elks was one, and and Tony's was basically one. It should have been.
yeah, but
But
this is one that's good for the product, as they would say for us. Is that we called out on the pod a couple of weeks back that Brentford don't get many chances, but the chance they do get are big, and this is just three huge chances they had in the game. You know,
yeah,
2.2 xg, and about two of them are in those three chances. And they do concede a lot of chances in central area, and that was it. We did feel like we were knocking on the door through those central areas. Um, they they were there for it. Son, that's probably the worst game I think I felt like I watched. Son in a top shirt. Um, we don't know until that mask goes how bad it is, but the signs weren't fantastic beforehand.
yeah,
It's a problem.
yeah. I feel like Benton Core's been a big miss. I think
Oh,
he's a massive he's a
huge
massive
miss.
miss in. I was hoping that Kulusevski could carry some of that weight of bringing the ball
Biss had a
forward and
bad
stuff.
game.
And yeah,
Biss
with
had a
Basuma,
real bad game.
yeah, it was
Um,
poor.
so
Um,
Benton will be back New Year's Day.
think so. Yeah,
We're going.
can't wait.
We're going. So we
It's
didn't
gonna
get
be
to
fun.
golf today, but we could do get to go and have some cuddles on Sunday, hopefully,
Beers,
and
mate, beers.
hopefully positive. Well, I'm cuddling one way or another. I'm
Fair
cuddling.
enough. Fair enough.
Um, but God,
It's miserable.
Kane must just think, what's going on, mate? With Son, he must just think, what on earth is going on? um, when do
The
we not
whole the
like
whole attack
Conte?
didn't.
When do we get to say that we don't like Conte?
Well, I just don't. I don't like our first halves. I mean, like the second half is fine. I mean, if I just hold my hand like there and I just look to the right of it. In fact, even the XG from there looks pretty bad. But it's not fun to watch. I don't like. And I suppose we're going a bit off tangent off FPL here, but I don't like moaning about players not being there to train and get tactically up to speed, and then playing half of them, but then not playing the keeper, the captain, and then seeing Varane come out yesterday. Just like, okay, I that, I don't get that.
Yeah,
That says to me there's more than fatigue. Um, there's something else in there. Is there a team harmony issue? I don't know. Yeah, it's frustrating, but I still trust Kane. Going back to FPL, I still trust Kane when required to step up and make a chance out of not very much. And
yeah.
you know, he had that one. He had the one that hit the bar. Um, you feel if he gets into the right areas, he only needs a couple of chances, and I think
The
that's
two
fine.
headers, the goal and then the one shortly after, were just phenomenal headers, just absurd headers. But I don't know. Did you see the Kulusevski uh, quotes? I mean, he
No,
basically, I mean, he talks well, but this is his words. I mean, it's the first half was very bad. We didn't feel ready, and we lost every second ball. We didn't do anything with the ball, so we were very disappointed with the game. It's not okay. You feel as a player that as soon as you get the first goal that you're going to win. We went very, very close. I thought we were going to win. I was watching the clock whole time because I knew we had a lot of time to score. Unfortunately, we did, but the big problem is not the second half; it's the first half. It's not okay to start games like this. If we want to be a big team, we need to start playing for the first minute, like he's saying what we're saying, um, which is positive that we've got players saying it. You know, I wonder how Conte feels that the players coming out and saying those things. But we're now in that position where everyone needs to say it. Conte needs to say it. Everyone needs to say it. But if it don't start, this goes badly
yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
because
everybody else
there'll be
is
better
starting
teams.
well.
Yeah, and
You
there'll be
know,
better teams. You'll
it's
come across
Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle, bang, bang, Arsenal every single time.
Every single time.
From
Chelsea came out quick this week.
Chelsea came out quick this week. I mean, I was saying about Arsenal, that's the first game this season where Arsenal haven't scored in the first half hour.
United were 2-0 up in 25 minutes, whatever it was. Bang, bang.
You've got to be quick. City were 1-0. No, that was late. It was 40th minute.
But Haaland had a big chance in about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Big teams come out, set the stall out.
Yeah.
You don't get away with games like this. We've got away with too many this season, and we're not a big team. It doesn't make us particularly great assets, but Kane will always be a great asset because even if we go 2-0 down, well, he's got a chance of getting the bonus by getting us back into it, and he's the one that will get us back into it, and he won't come off. Like he's on the pitch on that position time when we actually play quite well. So he's still a great asset. I still would love the opportunity to have him in 20. I don't know if I'll be able to get there.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult if you haven't got him from 17. I think it's very difficult to then go.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because you can't even take Reece James down to anyone.
We can't plan that long because we don't know what doubles are going to be till game week 19. So that's what I just think is you just got to attack the week.
Fair enough. Cool. Well, I think we've we've covered.
Should we mention Arsenal because you're about to just say we're not done and we haven't even mentioned them?
Oh Christ! Okay, fine. Let's do it.
We should do it.
No, we should do.
They're all good.
They're all good. Yeah.
The 4 attacking assets all return well. Like Odegaard gets 2 assists in the bonus. Martinelli, Saka, bonus, goal.
Nketiah
gets a goal.
Straight in, comes in, gets a goal. Defense concede 0.25 xg, 0.3 xg. Non-penalty. Yeah. So all the Arsenal players are good.
Yeah.
That's a problem for many reasons.
They're good.
Yeah.
They're all really good. I'm hopeful that they're playing a really good team in Brighton this week, and they're really good. I didn't mention them either, but they're a good team. That's
fine. We weren't here to mention. We said at the start we were only going to do like these 3 key things, weren't we? We weren't going to go for every game. No, we're not making moves for these guys because you've probably already got them in, and if you haven't, you've got other fires.
But you can't stay without for too long on these guys.
No, I'm going back to the fixtures. Their runs.
Even in the attack, you've got I feel like defense wise, they've got it tough for a little while. Yeah, they're going to have to fight through a few games. But I feel like if they do concede, well, the good news is that they'll fight back.
Well, they'll come out and
The really positive, I would say, for Arsenal was I thought they were really nervous first half. I thought everything was rushed. I thought they were all chaotic, in the way they played. They tried to play at a pace that was just not right, and it's almost like where you didn't have Jesus up top was that you could give it to him and he almost slows the game down to let everybody overtake him, and then he's almost controlling that. Whereas it felt like, I said about Darwin snatchy, but the whole team felt a bit that way, like they were pushing. Like there was a bit of nerves of we're top here, we need to get into this and stuff. And they didn't seem quite right. They fixed it at the second half and they came out and they were purring second half. They were brilliant second half. That would be a massive confidence boost for them. Sadly.
Well, we finish now.
Some really good players.
Yeah.
Irritating.
Okay, so we finish on that wonderful note. Yeah. Cool. So, guys, if you're a
Spurs fan, don't listen for the last 20 minutes because we just said how bad we were.
You can't tell. They were. I was going to say you can't tell people after that's happened.
Oh yeah, so, it doesn't work.
Doesn't work that way around. But look, if you've got this far, thank you very much. I hope that you've had a good Christmas. You're going to have a great New Year. You've had a good game week 17. Hopefully, you've got above that safety score, which is ridiculously high. Hopefully that helps with a few decisions, dilemmas that you're having. We're all pretty much in the same boat with these questions that are coming up. So, yeah, quick turnaround. We're back into game week 18 on Friday night. We're recording, as we say, on Wednesday night.
Did we plug anything today?
No, we didn't. We didn't plug anything. So if you haven't already checked out our friend Dan, he is Crypto Block Dan on Twitter. Dan supports the podcast. He supports the YouTube channel. Fantastic guy. If you have interest in the blockchain, crypto, anything like that, go drop him a follow on Twitter. He's a really great guy, and he's doing all right at FPL this season as well. So he's really making a conscious effort to beat me basically, which he's doing. So good for Dan. As Baker mentioned as well, we're heading up to Tottenham on New Year's Day. We probably will hang around in London for a little bit for a couple of beers afterwards. So if you are in and around London, give us a shout on Twitter, and we can, we obviously, if we get like 10 people messages, we're not going to just like bar crawl around London. But if we could sort out something that we could do at like 4 o'clock or 5, 6 o'clock or something like that, where we can go for a beer, that'd be good. You're not rushing out,
quite miserable by then, I expect. But
well, probably. Football is always what ruins our days out.
Yeah.
Tottenham. So, but if you are, then yeah, just drop us a shout and we can see if we can arrange something. This is going to be the last podcast YouTube video of 2022. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone that has watched a video of ours. Thank you to everyone that has listened to a podcast of ours. We've had over almost 100, we will have over 180,000 views on our YouTube videos this year, which is honestly it's just ridiculous. There's like 3,000. Yeah, there's like 3,350 subscribers. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. We're carrying on into 2023. Nothing's stopping. We're going to keep going every single week, and hopefully you enjoy what we do. If you have any feedback for us, just give us a shout, and yeah, that would be good. So I think I will leave it there, and I guess there's nothing left to learn, nothing left to say. But speak later.
See you Sunday.
Cheers, mate.
See you later, mate.
I've got no end screen either now, so that's what we get. Done.